Hello, guys. My name is Christian, and today we're going to be talking about the flu patch vaccine, F-Patch 20. We're Team 21, and I'm here working with
Jessica Rogers,
Segen Mebrahtu,
Alexander Ortiz,
and Jessica Umeh.
Today we'll be discussing on our innovation for the flu, and we'll propose our flu patch product during our presentation. Now I'll move on to our agenda. So today I'll be going over the innovation process from the start of the pandemic itself toward the F-Patch 20. Alex will be covering the background information and the current data/trends. He'll explain the outside research that we have found for similar products or programs. Jessica Rogers will be covering the innovation/service proposal. Here she'll be going over the product proposal, the details of the benefits of the product, the thing that sets us apart from other programs or similar proposals, the details of the benefits of the product as well. Jessica will be talking about the budget planning and finance. Here she'll go over where the allocation of the money will go towards the specific program. Then Segen will be closing off the proposal, explaining the main points again, and finalizing the proposal plan. Innovation process. The corona pandemic has impacted the way healthcare worldwide sees a need for having timely and effective vaccination. The flu in particular is a yearly occurrence affecting millions of individuals across the nation. California has many anti-vaccination supporters that do not support the flu vaccination, making this, among many other reasons, some of the main things that leave thousands of people without their annual flu shot. However, thanks to our technology and our team, we were able to create an innovation in which we'll replace all vaccination needles with the simple F-Patch 20, relieving the concerns among those who are scared of needles and will not step a foot into the clinic. F-Patch 20 is far more effortless, more effective, more accessible, and most importantly, easy and safe for everybody to use. Now I'll be passing it on to Alex, and he'll be going over the background of our innovation.
So for the background, you can see at the top that it's a microneedle patch. For our innovation, we don't go into the concept of microneedling, it's just a patch, but this is the background information that is currently out there recently and what's being researched right now. So I'm gonna go over the cost, studies, and overall immunity. It's supposed to be cost effective, the patch, and then it's supposed to be highly efficient. As you can see with the microneedles, you can see that what it actually looks like, how it's being placed, and then how it's being done at a biological level. And for this study, the research on the vaccine patch has been studied to be more therapeutic compared to the normal syringe. Recently, vaccine patches have been advanced to dissolving their microneedles, what makes it drastically safer because it limits biohazards if the patch falls off or is misplaced somehow. Vaccine patches can work just as good as syringe by delivering bioactive molecules on different scales, can be coded like DNA vaccines, include subunit antigens, and can be effective against a liver or dead virus. This could completely replace syringe vaccines because they are pain-free, non-invasive, reduce a need for cold chain storage and transportation, create less biohazard waste, and no more syringe injuries. And it could even get rid of bloodborne communicable diseases in rural areas. The vaccine still needs to be tested to see if they're functional and produce a long-lasting immunity to users. And then I'm going to go over data trends next. So current data trends, scientists have been trying to study needle-free vaccines for 2 decades already, and then I'm going to go over a brief introduction about who Nadine Roth said, about her and her study, and just kind of the data that she's found. First off, Dr. R is currently a clinical core PI and a director of the Hope Clinic unit. She's a Hope Clinic site director of the co-PI and for the vaccine treatment and evaluation unit, and is investigator for HIV clinical trials. The research that she conducted consisted of 100 participants, and they were divided into 4 groups. These groups consisted of 1 introducing the vaccine patch and given by a provider. The second group self-administered the vaccine patch, and the third had a normal vaccine with the syringe that was done by a provider. And the last group had a placebo patch that was administered by a healthcare provider. The last vaccine that was used was an inactivated influenza vaccine from 2014 to the 2015 flu season. They concluded that all vaccines given supplied them with immunity and the only disruption that caused was small irritation around the skin that the patch was placed. It was around itchiness and just kind of just a redness that it produced. They found out that the vaccine worked by analyzing blood samples and looked at antibody response that were produced by the vaccine. They tracked immunity for 6 months, and it was still present within the subject. This suggested that there is no difference between the vaccine types. They're both produce immunity. The only difference is that the patch can reduce the cost of needles, create less biohazard waste, and can be easily transported with no refrigeration because it can be made stable. This makes the patch vaccine a new candidate and how we can be able to administrate vaccines in the future. Again, though, we are not going to the concept of microneedles, and Jessica's going to take you about in that innovation.
So for our innovation, we would like to propose the F-Patch 20 product. It's a flu patch that is needle-free and will be replacing the current most commonly used flu vaccination shot. The way we created the F-Patch 20 will allow people to effectively get the flu vaccination without worrying about going to the doctor. Patients will have little to no symptoms of illness after being administered the patch vaccine, and they'll be able to get properly vaccinated without experiencing any fear or pain from a needle. And I'm sure you're wondering how a flu vaccination patch would work effectively without the use of needles, especially since Alex explained that most of the current research uses microneedles for patches. The F-Patch 20 is unique from every other flu patch because we found research about the Claudin-1 protein that is found in the apical neural tube. Our research found that the protein Claudin-1 can open the skin barrier without significant or long-term damage to the skin. And so the F-Patch 20 would utilize the Claudin-1 protein to introduce the flu vaccine into the body without actually using needles that penetrate the skin barrier. The F-Patch 20 will have synthetic peptides that bind to Claudin-1, and by the peptides binding to Claudin-1, it'll allow for the skin barrier that the F-Patch 20 was administered to open up just that specific area of the skin. This won't result in any sort of long-term damage or irritation to the skin or increase anyone's risk of an infection from having a portion of the F-Patch 20 on their skin. Another great thing about the patch, the F-Patch 20, is that it would start being effective almost immediately with spreading the vaccine into the body. Unlike the typical flu shot, sometimes it takes a while for the body to recognize the flu vaccine and become actually effective for the person, but this would be much faster and effective immediately, and it would also only need to stay on the skin for between 18 to 36 hours. Not only does our innovation offer a new, more convenient way of being given the flu vaccine, but we've also planned a better way of distributing the vaccine. The F-Patch 20 vaccine is far easier and cheaper to make than the flu shot vaccine. Like Alex said, it's easy to transport because it doesn't need to be refrigerated and there's no need for sterilized needles or anything like that. Flu vaccines are typically administered at doctor's offices or retail pharmacies like CVS or Walgreens, and they can be a frustrating investment if you don't have health insurance that will cover the cost. But with the F-Patch 20, we'll have easy access because it'll be a low cost to make, and also our distribution system will include our team that goes to people's schools or jobs and will administer the F-Patch 20 to ensure proper placement as well as proper use of the F-Patch 20. So by our company delivering the F-Patch 20 to people, we eliminate the need for medical professionals, and we don't need people to wait in long lines. And the product itself eliminates the fear and pain of needles or going to the doctor's office. It's far more convenient for patients in that way. It's cheaper for them, and it's easy to use because, like I said, there's no medical experts that need to be there to actually administer the patch, which is why the distribution process is so convenient for patients, where our team would just go and make sure that they're using the patch properly. So for quantitative outcomes, the patch itself is a lot more accessible for patients because of the cheaper cost and because of the distribution system that we've created. making the whole F-Patch 20 product a lot more appealing than getting the flu vaccination shot. The flu vaccination shot scares a lot of patients away from getting the flu vaccine, but because the F-Patch 20 is a lot more of an appealing process, more people will get vaccinated and therefore less people will be sick with the flu. For qualitative outcomes, it's an overall better quality product because it won't give patients flu-like symptoms or any sort of skin irritations like the flu vaccine with the shot currently does. Like I also said, the F-Patch 20 is effective immediately within the body, and there's also no fear or pain or anxiety that patients will experience from a needle. And you'll save more money with the F-Patch 20, and it's just overall a lot less work for patients to get the F-Patch 20. It's faster, it's easier, it's more convenient, just an overall better quality product than the current flu vaccination shot. Next, I'm going to be passing it on to Jessica, and she's going to cover our budget plan.
So now I'll be explaining the budget and everything that we need to make our innovation possible. For the startup, we'll need about 1 million to initiate the distribution. 250 will be going towards research, consisting of understanding like any skin irritations that come with it. 200,000 will be going towards clinical trials over time, getting as many people into the study so that this can be accessible for all age groups. We want to reach a lot of people. 30,000 will be going towards marketing and production. That will consist of trucks, getting facilities where we can put our we can distribute we can keep our things there. And 80,000 will be for distribution and delivery because we will be we will have our own employees going out to these locations and putting the patch on properly. And going into the next slide, I'll talk about staffing. And for staffing, so we'll have 2 teams, a research team and a marketing and distribution team, having dermatologists on the research team, chemists and immunologists. Dermatology to understand skin irritations, as stated before, making sure we're reducing eczema, some people, the way their skin reacts to that, having understanding just how the virus works and how creating the vaccine works, and also with testing new treatment through our clinical trials. And then for the marketing and distribution, that'll be a big part of our team because we will be wanting to reach all age groups. So it'll be important that we have a strong team and also our distribution team working well together. And then we're gonna hand it off to Segen to conclude our proposal.
All right, thank you, Jessica. So kind of what my group today has talked about is that the influenza virus is something that is a worldwide issue and it affects all. And we haven't really figured out how to eliminate this type of disease. However, with the innovation of the F-Patch 20, it will allow for the unvaccinated population to be eliminated. And that means specifically the elderly population due to the fact that it is non-invasive. It will also allow for the accessibility to workplaces and schools to reach those for which it might be inconvenient or kind of hard to move around their schedule to get. In addition, this innovation limits the cost of sterilization or products in time that the normal vaccine and needles would use, just because, as Alex mentioned earlier, that you would only need to do it on your own. It wouldn't have to go to the doctor's office or anything like that. In addition, the development of Claudin-1 will be heavily used during the production and development of this product, and that's going to be adding into the $1 million that we're requesting as a group in order for this innovation to be created. And here is our references. Thank you for listening to our presentation.